Welcome to another episode of The Offside
and the Overthrows podcast. In this episode, we're going to be discussing the mid-table teams in the Premier League and the teams who are knocking to get into Europe, and we're going to give our picks for the teams who unfortunately we think will get relegated. Let's go. Hey man, welcome back.
Ashley. Welcome back.
Oh man. Disclaimer. We're recording this after Liverpool beat Newcastle in the 110th minute.
Really, you could look at our smiles and know how elated we are.
Super happy. So we are like, let's finish up the preview that we started for the season. So where did we leave off?
I think we were discussing about Newcastle and how it could be a mixed bag of a season for them. A lot depends on what they're able to do in the next 6 days.
6 days. Actually, today, after the end of the match, it's like a good segue into the next segment. That they all of the new players that they brought on, kind of a couple of them, Malik Theo and the striker, both of them, the centre forward, I keep forgetting his name, Osula.
William
Osula. Both of them came to play. Osula scored a goal. So seems like life isn't all that grim after Isak.
Yeah.
Or with Isak, without Isak.
Already.
But
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I was going to add, I just hope so that they are a bit lucky with the injuries this season.
Yeah.
Again, what we saw towards the end of the game, both Tonali and
Joelinton
sort of had to walk off. So I hope it's not like long-term injuries, and again they have to manage those injuries.
Man, it is super difficult for them already. The fact that they have a tight squad, they didn't really sign a lot of people, and on top of that, two of their mainstays in their midfield. Essentially, last year their midfield three, I'd say, was one of the best in the league.
That's right.
Like Joelinton brings that energy in the midfield along with Bruno, and Tonali is the skill. Right, I mean, he's the one who sprays the ball, who's a Pirlo-esque player in their team. Like, both of them kind of going off injured. Hopefully, it's not long term because that could have a big bearing on how their season goes. Right?
I agree.
Now, like after we've spoken about Newcastle, coming back to the other team which has had a brilliant start to the season, Tottenham Hotspurs. What do you make of them, man?
They look very promising for refreshingly in a long time. And when I say long time, ever since probably like the Andre Villas-Boas days, which is probably now 10-12 years ago.
Was it good during it?
No, I was going to say no. Since then, I mean, okay. I think the last memorable campaign Tottenham had was likely under like Harry Redknapp and
no man, they got to the Champions League final against Liverpool, dude.
No, they did. They had a very wow, what do you call it?
Run in the Champions League.
The win against Ajax was still crazy.
Unbelievable.
Like 90+ some winner. Yeah, sure. That's only my bad. I think I somehow overlooked the whole Pochettino era. Pochettino era was great, but then it somehow got stagnant towards the last season, like typical signings and things started to went downwards. But then fact being is probably in a very long time, Thomas Frank seems to be a very refreshing, pragmatic and like very practical signing. I would start from there. He has a very interesting take on the game, and of course like Pochettino, he had a very great run with Southampton.
Was it Southampton?
Yeah.
Brenton for
Pochettino
Southampton and for Thomas Frank Brentford.
So a point I'm trying to make is there are some parallels where managers who proven their sort of skill and talent and tactical supremacy with mid-table team, or when they took over they're probably like struggling team and brought them to a well-respected mid-table team. So this is definitely going to be a sort of a year to look out or watch out for. And if the first two games are a proof of what's expected to come, then they are a pretty they were already a pretty solid team last year. Unfortunately, there were a string of long list of injuries, which of course didn't help Ange. And Ange also was very bullish with this approach. The fact that Frank is more sort of fluid and more
horses for courses
kind of an approach. I think this is definitely going to make sort of a
Interesting
solid
time.
case for them.
The only reason why I am happy for them, but the only reason why I'm not kind of getting on the excitement train is that they kind of won the first 10-12 matches under Ange. They were the top of the table, and they even beat
Sure, that was
Liverpool.
the season before.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So when that was the first season for Ange, right?
Ange,
So
correct, yeah.
it seemed like everything was hunky dory, and then like things like really unraveled really fast. So even now, honestly, with Madison's injury, and the fact that they've missed out on Morgan Gibbs White and very recently Eze to Arsenal, which I feel is really a slap in their face in the sense that there was news about them tracking Eze. They had agreed personal terms. They had even agreed on a fee with Crystal Palace. It almost seemed like they were just waiting for the Conference League game to end and then they'll sign Eze.
Right.
And from there, Howard's injury and Arsenal hijacked the Eze deal in a day.
It happened overnight.
Yeah. So it almost seemed like they lost out on a lot of hard work they had done for the past month, I'd say. So with those lack of those signings and Madison's injury, there is a big creative hole in the team, I feel.
Sure.
Because all three players could have been that game changers from the number 10 position. So they're still like on the lookout, and I know I recently read a news from Fabrizio that they had a 70 million bid rejected for Nico Paz from Como, who is apparently holding out for Real Madrid to come and poach him. How many number 10s are they going to sign? They have that one from River Plate.
Franco Mustantano.
I don't want to butcher his name.
16 or 17.
Yeah, so that guy, you have Arda Güler, and then you have...
I forgot Arda Güler.
Exactly, right? They have Brahim Diaz. Obviously, Bellingham is a number 10. Potentially Camavinga could play, but yeah, it's up in the air.
More defense-minded, but yeah, I agree with the fact that they are spoiled for riches. They have way too many options there.
I don't know whom are they going to sign, but yeah. So coming back to Spurs, like I feel there is still that void, and with that void, their 11 is not strong enough, or their squad is not strong enough. Where now probably it looks hunky dory. Once the Champions League starts, they start playing 2 games,
for sure,
and that will probably be that will definitely be the first time that Frank has managed a squad with such a short turnaround time between games.
3 games per week. Which
is going to be hectic.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I want to temper my expectations. This season, given how badly it went in the league last year, if they're able to play out, let's say, even a top Europe finish, I won't say as far as saying I won't say as far as saying a Champions League finish. But if they can get a Europe finish, like a top 7 finish, that's a successful season. And if they can get somewhere in the Champions League, like maybe not in the bottom, 8, that kind of directly get eliminated.
They get out of, if they get to the round of 16.
Yeah, correct. If they get out of that, that is like a huge success, I'll say. Probably what Aston Villa did last year. I'll say something like that. It's a good season for them. But I still feel there are a few players in the squad short, but one good thing is Romero, from looking like he's going to leave the club to go to Atletico, signed a new deal and is the club captain. Right. What do you think they've done well in the transfer market this summer?
I'd probably start with Thomas Frank himself. That's a solid signing in itself, and he's probably the one who's going to bring the whole team together. Again, based on what initial couple of games are to show, Paulinho is a shrewd signing in the sense that he's sort of course, I wouldn't call him a Premier League veteran, but he has played almost two full seasons,
2 to 3 seasons at Fulham.
So and Fulham was a mid-table team at best, so he's way more used to being the tough tackling ball midfielder. What I'm trying to make is that might just be a good fit for Tottenham.
Actually, that is exactly what they were missing last year, right? With Yves Basuma being very good technically, but having a lot of discipline issues and not being strong enough on the ball, and Bergwall being too young and too weak.
I think Bergwall could groom into a much better player this season.
True, but
they have Archie Gray as well, who's
Archie Gray, I feel so bad for that guy. He's signed as a midfielder, CDM,
played all over
but he's playing all over the place.
But I think that was injury management thing by Ange.
True, but it was like as a young player, he didn't get that opportunity to play in a team where he was bedded in. Right?
Yeah, sure. Also, if we could, and I would probably look at it this way, also shows his versatility. At 18,
Sure.
if he's able to do that in Premier League consistently, and he was decent. Like, sure, he did commit mistakes, but that's part of a learning curve an 18-year-old would have. And he was always touted to be like a solid talent. So let's hope that this season, and Brentford, I'm sorry, Thomas Frank is known to sort of groom and churn out such young talents out.
That actually kind of like it's a very subtle thing that you said, but you almost interchangeably used Thomas Frank and Brentford there
Yeah.
because that's the stature he kind of built at that club, right?
True,
Where
true.
Brentford were a force in the Premier League. Every team kind of feared them. They were a bogey team because Thomas Frank was there. Like he lost initially in the championship. They had Ivan Toney, they had Ben Rama, and I think Mbuemo. He lost first Ben Rama and then Watkins. Actually, Watkins. He lost Ben Rama and then Watkins. He rebuilt the squad with a Wissa and Ivan Toney.
Right.
And then in the Premier League, he did something with that squad. He made a difference. Then Ivan Toney left. Actually, he was suspended first for a year, right? For that gambling thing. Match fixing, not fixing,
for
betting,
like
for betting.
6-8 months.
Betting, right? So then he lost him, and then he got him back, and it was clear that Ivan Toney wasn't signing a deal.
Yeah.
So Ivan Toney left. Then he had a season with Mbuemo and Wissa, where they had probably their best seasons in the Premier League.
They both each scored like 20 goals.
And now one has already left for 60 million. The other is probably going to leave at 60 million.
Likely so, yeah.
So he's so beautifully rebuilt or made that small squad into a Premier League regulars for the past 3 seasons.
Yeah.
That's probably what Tottenham need at this point. No philosophy, nothing. Just come, win matches. Just manage to get
the refreshing.
Get results through. That will probably bring players, bring success, and then build ground from the ground up. Right?
Sure. And another name to call out in like the new signings list is probably Mohamed Kudus. He's a very dynamic, very direct kind of a winger. He's great at dribbling. His one touch or close touches is great. So that would definitely help them build on more direct and more direct counter-attacking style of football, which is itself an identity. So and they have good strikers. Richarlison is a character.
He's somehow playing well. He started the season brilliantly.
So, and my hope is, and that's probably what Thomas Frank can do, is sort of bring out that best version of these players out. Like I could probably put Richarlison and Christian Romero in the same bucket of being that eccentric, very
rash. They could be
kind of
either
players.
great or bad.
Exactly, and probably Thomas Frank is sort of the arm around the shoulder they need, and
good
it's going to be that calming effect on them.
All I want to say about Kudus is Kudus Tottenham.
That's a good one.
Actually, you're right in the sense that Kudus, I felt, has a pretty good injury record. I mean, last year he had a iffy year, but I feel from Ajax to the physicality that he has, he's probably that player who can maybe give them consistent games.
Managed well, yeah.
If managed well, like given if they have a fully fit squad, which is very difficult to get at this point. But you have Kudus, you have a certain Kulusevski. I mean, Madison is pretty much gone for the year, so I'm not counting him in.
Oh yeah, that's a very bad.
I'll count Matthias Tell, Odeberg.
Yeah.
You have Brennan Johnson.
That's great.
You'll have Richarlison. You will have Solanke. And then like a Bogba.
That's a solid attack. Like you named like good
6-7 players, right?
7 Premier League quality players, and arguably Tell and
Odeberg are young. Yeah.
But they'll learn, and Brennan Johnson has been seemingly solid, and he can probably go on to do greater things.
And if they can get one differential creative signing in the last 6-7 days, then that could be that completion of the puzzle. And with decent amount of squad rotation and all, they can probably form a good team. The fact that he beat Man City, I see, for all the positivity around the fact that they've beaten Man City, oh wow, this is amazing. I felt they were lucky as well because Man City had some really good opportunities to score, especially the one where I think Vicario loses the ball and Haaland passes the ball, and that was. I couldn't believe how Man City didn't score. Like a Man City a couple of years ago, put that away, go on, score 3 more, and you're done.
Yeah.
So they were lucky, but they definitely made lives difficult. And they, in the second half, I'll say they shut the game.
True.
Like they did not give Man City a sniff after going 2-0 up. They shut the game up, which is very unlike Spurs. Like I think there is this Ferguson quote, right? Like at halftime, his team is losing 3-0 or 2-0. He's like, "Come on, guys, it's Spurs after all." And then they end up beating them 5-3. So like they have that history to actually last season as well, right? They did a Spurs to lose the big games. They eventually won the whatever the $1 million game or the multi-million-dollar game to get into the Champions League. And then hopefully the only way is up. I hope they do well. And
I mean, they definitely are in better hands and more promising
100%.
Situation than Man United.
Well, I mean, it's the start of the season. There is so much positivity. Actually, that's brilliant. You've kind of segued into Man United. Like for Man United, I felt the beginning of the season, like just before the first game day, the optimism levels were so high. Like where Gary Neville says they're going to finish in the top 5, the Man United supporters online.
If you ask me, sorry to interrupt, if you ask me the kind of signings they made, and at least the kind of the names they already have on paper, they should be a top 4, top 5. Let's start there.
I would say top 4.
Like, I mean, top 4, yeah, exactly. Now, I think the biggest conundrum that Man United as an institution sort of have to answer is they have two in my opinion, they have two ways to go from here, which is either commit to the manager and blindly follow his philosophy and however he wants to do it. And if that means you'll have to go a couple of seasons without Champions League football, rot in mid-table, go through that.
Wow, rot in mid-table, that must stink. But
other way around is actually start blaming the manager already, because this is my opinion. I feel Amorim personally is a solid manager, but he's so wedded to his philosophy, his formation, his tactics. These players somehow don't fit into that, and which is an irony in itself. Like, how do these,
there is no question about the skill.
Exactly. There's no, So the fact is, and let's also try to look 100 feet view to this. The fact that there have been managers who came in before Amorim, like Erik ten Hag. He's arguably tactically solid, but the fact that he couldn't do much. If you did, further go down the line, I don't know the exact sequence. Probably it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There was Ralph Rangnick in between. Everyone came, and most of them had a similar core or same core in this team and couldn't really do much. Then, if you go down this part of the argument, then probably there is something seriously wrong with the players. Then you'd probably have to back the manager and be like, hey, we'll have to, it. You know what they say, like, it gets worse before it gets better, kind of a,
like a couple of things, right? I mean, on your point, I actually.
Or Amorim probably can, change his formation and try something else.
I don't see
that happening.
Yeah, I don't see Amorim moving away, because at this point the stat is he's played 29 games, he's collected 28 points overall. Like for Man United, that's the stat. If he isn't changing the philosophy now, he's never changing the philosophy.
That's
like, I think that's a given.
And he's already offered that. I think post the Europa League final or so, there was an interview where he said,
"I'll walk away from my board."
Exactly. So,
see, I'll say a couple of things, right? Firstly, your point that you brought up about like other managers not succeeding there is bang on. In the sense that I feel at some level,
where do you draw the line and be like, hey, this is...
It's not... No. I think that the question is it actually the players and not the managers?
Right.
Because there has always been conversation about, Man United, they have the players, they always have the squad, it's just the manager isn't able to bring them together, something is missing, he's not able to get that formula, that magic dust.
Right.
But, one manager can be bad or cannot manage things. 2 managers can be unable to manage things.
Right.
You cannot have... I mean, unfortunately, ever since Ferguson left, see, agreed, they have. It's not been like they've not won trophies.
Yeah.
They've won trophies. Like that is probably one thing that Man United can be happy about is that throughout this,
Yep.
they've won trophies.
Correct.
They've won 2 FA Cups under Eric Ten Hag. They won the Europa League and finished second in the league under.
Wow,
And league,
I like overlooked all of this.
yeah, and then I think they won the League Cup under Mourinho, or was it the FA Cup?
Not
They
sure,
won.
but yeah.
I think League Cup. They won the League Cup under Mourinho. So they have had.
They won Europa as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Europa, exactly. So they've, and under Solskjaer as well, they won the League Cup, I believe. So they won trophies consistently to the point where I think it's not like, oh my god, they're in absolute crisis.
Yeah.
They've done something right. But on that end, Amorim, I feel, is a good manager, as you rightly put. Like that's true. I feel even with everything, right, there is a factor of luck. Like absolutely, there is a bit of luck which has to be either made or it comes to you. I feel they've, unfortunately, maybe it's difficult to make this argument that they've not had luck for the past decade.
Yeah, I was going to say,
but
you're being way too lenient.
agreed. But no, they've been crap under a lot of managers. I feel like the way Mourinho managed some of his players didn't cut it. Eric Ten Hag, I felt, was all words, no implementation at some point,
Right.
because I remember him coming to the league and saying, "Oh, it was a Klopp and Guardiola era, but all eras come to an end." I'm like, dude, like, why don't you deliver something and then let's talk about stuff?
Sure.
Like, you haven't earned much yet. So I thought that was a little too bullish. He did get into the Champions League, but after that it was like all downhill.
Yeah.
But I thought Solskjaer, he was tactically very limited.
Agreed.
But
Yeah,
he
was,
managed to do
like,
something with the team.
He
Like,
did. The initial few games after he took up, it was refreshing to see them play the way
Correct.
they play. Like,
even he got them into the Champions League and all. So
yeah, I
he
think one season they finished second. Or
I
third.
don't think second, they
finished
third,
yeah,
right? They did finish the Champions League. So he did. So there have been moments of high, but they have not been able to capitalize on that.
Right.
So this summer, I felt when they Man United, no matter what, they finish 16th, they lose the Europa League final, they're not in Europe. It's Man United, right? I mean, no matter how much I hate them as a Liverpool fan, I can't deny the fact
agree.
that
I would also. I'm not so. I don't like my. It's not like disdain that I harbor against them. I would definitely want them to do well or better enough to be called worthy. Arch rivals.
Yeah, I mean,
it's sort of sad to sort of see
how far they've fallen.
the depths they have fallen to.
But it's Man United at the end of the day. They're
You got to give them some heat.
They're going to pull players in. Like,
They would.
on
They
that.
just did. Like, they just got Sheshko.
Exactly.
Who could have walked into Newcastle's team and done much better there.
He had Champions League football in Newcastle.
Yeah.
Probably they were giving him more money.
For sure.
With Isak's situation,
It could have also mean that Isak could have come to
sure. But like he apparently took lower money, or his agent apparently
I was
did
about
not
it.
take
Yeah,
agent fees
exactly.
for him to go to United. That's a big deal. That's a statement,
Correct.
right? So Sheshko is a statement. I feel like Embuemo as well.
Mhm.
They kind of beat out Tottenham. They kind of beat out
Right.
Spurs. He wanted to come to United. Period. And I think that's a good deal. And Cunha, who had a great year last year, like honestly.
Correct.
So with those three, on paper, if you look, they've kind of addressed the issues they had in the front three.
That's right.
When they
Yeah.
had a non-performing striker.
But here is my sorry again to break the flow. Here is my sort of brutal take. They have way too many number 10s. Like Bruno lacks the discipline. He's a great player.
He cannot be number 8.
But the fact exactly he cannot be number 8. The fact that
Number 6 actually. He cannot be number 6.
He cannot be number 6, nor can he be number 8. He
Needs to be a 10.
Yeah, I hate to say this. As much of a solid player he is, he wants to be a 10, and he sort of will be a 10.
I mean,
Because
it's
the fact that even in the last game we saw, he
I
was
was just
so
getting to that.
mispositioned. So
no, he missed Smith Rowe for the goal.
correct. So the point I'm trying to make is either United change formations, like play a 4-2-3-1 where he fits in as the 10, and then the 3 new signings up front,
I don't see that happening honestly.
or play Bruno as the left-sided number 10, Cunha as a forward, or Sheshko as a forward, drop Mason to the midfield, and or swap with Kobe Mino. Like there is no way, Bruno Fernandes can play. Number 8. Although apparently his favorite number is number 8. He has number 8 tattooed on his hand. Yeah. He has number 8 on his jersey, but he is by no means number 8. He's compulsively, obsessively number 10.
Honestly, this might actually be a very offensive line for me to say as a Liverpool fan, but there were accusations about Steven Gerrard in his prime, where a lot of managers said he lacked the tactical discipline to fit in a system team.
Okay.
Like you build a team, give him a free rein, and then have the others kind of be the system team where you give Gerrard that role.
Could argue that.
Like he was unbelievable. Honestly speaking, Bruno is not that level. But Bruno, if you see his record in terms of goals and assists for United, this underperforming United, he has unbelievable numbers. Like he had some 10 plus goals and assists and all. Like it's actually a number.
No, I agree. I was going to say, is it then a case of big fish in a small pond, where where the team overall
isn't that
so
great.
Underperforming
that
you again not really taking it away from Bruno. His numbers are great. Arguably, if we just stack the last 3 seasons, he's probably going to be in top 3 or top 5 in terms
100%.
of goals creation.
Productivity. But I think the your point to the crux of the matter is somehow in this formation, if he is wedded to this formation, the players just need to have an unbelievable season, or things just. Let me put it this way: PSG, the first half of last year were a shadow of themselves. They were nothing. They somehow didn't click. Things weren't working. The players weren't looking good. And then I don't know what happened against a Man City game in the Champions League. They clicked and they never stopped. They went all the way to the title. I don't know what changed. I don't know if the manager did something special that day or it was just a moment.
It like a perfect storm. Like everything clicked.
Exactly. So I think the ingredients are there for United, right? See, you have a back three where I think Euro, if he's fit, is a very good centre half. Right. Like he's pretty fast. We saw in the last game, he was fast. You have De Ligt.
And he's young, like he will develop.
Definitely. Like De Ligt, he's prone to errors, but
I would say he's solid, but he lacks the pace.
He lacks the pace.
He has to focus probably more on his positional game than.
No matter what we say, he's 25 or 26. He's very young for the experience that he's had. But I think he's a good centre half. Right. I won't say he's the best. He's a good centre half. You have Maguire, who is experienced, man. No matter what you say, he's experienced, and Lisandro Martinez will come in.
Lisandro Martinez will come in, or probably Luke Shaw is a more shrewd left-sided centre back.
Luke Shaw, I mean,
because I don't. He definitely doesn't have the stamina or the physicality in him to play like left wing back and do the runs up and down.
So I don't see Luke Shaw being fit, man. Like no matter what,
the point I'm trying to make is even Lisandro Martinez has an iffy, sketchy record with injuries. So in his absence, he can be a solid centre back.
I just somehow don't see. Honestly, Luke Shaw, I don't know how many handful of games he played last year. Right. Like his injury record is way too bad for me to even count him in a squad. If he's there, you're lucky. You're lucky. Yeah. But I would say Maguire, Lisandro Martinez, De Ligt, and a Euro are pretty good 4 options for 3 spots. Onana, see, there are issues, but at this point, I think it is what it is. Because Donnarumma, honestly, I think is too expensive. Like I think
there's almost talks that he's signed or agreed pre-contract with
Man City, but
I don't see him a fit there either. He's not good with his
feet.
He's not exactly
or in the air. So he's one of the best shot stoppers in the world, but I think his contract is just way too much because Man United have other holes to fill in the team. Frankly. So I think Onana can get by. He has mistakes in him, but he can get by. Dorgu is a pretty good left wing back. I rate him pretty well. And Ahmad is a pretty good right wing back. I don't rate Dalo, but Ahmad I think last year from right wing back he actually dug United out of so many holes. So I think he has that ability in him. Casemiro looks so lean.
He's done, bro. Like, unfortunately, he's another example of how United has become
Bad
a
policy,
retirement
yeah.
home and
That's
recent
actually
times.
really bad that they gave him a 5-year deal, but
Plus, they bought him for like
70 million.
So the fact itself they've overspent there is
Sure, but I think, see, if you are looking for that one player who can maybe just kind of be that experienced head positioning sense, he can maybe be that, but he needs to be paired with somebody who can run.
Right.
Like, honestly, I don't think you can play Ugarte and
I was about to
Casemiro.
bring up Ugarte as well. He's again very mono-dimensional and
He can tackle, but
that's
nothing
it.
more.
He doesn't really have the energy, stamina. He's not a box-to-box.
He doesn't have the passing range.
Or the passing range, exactly.
So, like, Bruno, again, like as we spoke about, lacks the discipline, but can maybe make a difference from midfield. Mainu, I don't know what is wrong. He's maybe not fast enough. Maybe the manager doesn't rate him.
For someone to sort of being that exciting young midfielder.
He was probably England's best young midfielder in the tournament, right?
And it can be also very sort of confidence hampering for the young chap.
For the youngster, yeah.
I don't think he has done anything that is
bad,
notably wrong.
Yeah.
Like, sure, he must have been average, but so was the rest of the team. So
exactly,
to
right?
sort of
sideline
shun him, somehow looks very unfortunate.
So, like, all in all, they have the ingredients. It's not perfect, but I think there was a quote by Klopp where he says, "When I saw Wolfgang Frank was like his mentor as such, who basically is the pioneer of gegenpressing and all." Okay. So he said, with his team in mind, that's when I realized you don't have to have the best players to win matches. With a good system, you can account for the lack of best players in every position, which I feel
You just indirectly say Ruben Amorim's system is not good.
No, I am actually saying the opposite. That if he can get his system right, and if he can get things clicking with the, how do I put this, the gaps in the team that we just spoke about, he can still maybe put together a team which is good enough to finish in the top 6, where they get that Europe and the revenue and the positivity, and then kind of build on.
And for me, the biggest advantage that they have is they are just in Premier League, and cup games for sure. Like, and cup games probably don't start until much later. The point I'm trying to get is, by and large, you're going to have one game per week that gives you lot of downtime, practice time to actually prepare for the weekend.
Yeah.
And
maybe his system might work.
I still think his system is solid enough. The players have to be nimble and got to sort of be flexible and ready to
just turn up.
There is no way it's beyond time that you just keep faulting managers who come in. There's probably something culturally wrong with this sort of the
mentality. Like a couple of things just to end it on stats. Apparently, Mbuemo and Cunha outperformed their XG dramatically last year.
Yes.
So, as much as I would want them to have that level of a season, I don't know if they will have such a season, because the fact that they've outperformed their XG so dramatically, if they're not able to do it, their output kind of halves, essentially. Almost halves. Yeah. So that's going to be a big problem again. They'll again have underperforming number 10s and all of that.
Yeah, we'll probably have to agree the fact that they're solid players. They overperform their XGs. I'm not saying they won't perform back as much again, but at least they'll have a year of downtime or a learning curve. Just because the team as such, the whole package is not ready, we'll have to also acknowledge the fact that in their respective teams, especially Brentford, they were a highly functional
unit
team to start with. Exactly, well-oiled, well-disciplined, well-rehearsed, team to begin with. So that helped them.
100%.
So to get there, to get to that point of sort of understanding, fluidity comes with time. And again, just going back to emphasis on the point that there's just one game per week. They definitely have the time. It's on them to really put the hard yards in and get it right.
I do not think we'll spend so much time discussing about Man United.
Agree. It's just that I think the true football fans in us that something cannot be so horribly wrong with the team, right?
A team like Man United, honestly, no matter what you say,
Man United,
it's Man United, right? I mean, the fact that the summer window just
Like,
showed
how
us
long will we keep saying that Liverpool beat United because they were shit team? They need to be. They need to some at least one season get there and be like, hey, you actually got beaten, or put up a fight.
Well, I mean, I won't say too early, too soon. We have a game coming up pretty quickly, so I'll save it till then. But actually, before we kind of move on to the next team, I remember with Spurs, we kind of forgot one point. Their legend Son, Heung-min Son, finally after so many years, he left the team and went to LA. Just a quick word, like what is one memory of Son that you probably have that you either like or hate?
It is like, I think I might be getting the team wrong. I don't know if it's Burnley.
Yeah.
And was the season before the last one, the 23-24 season. There was this one goal. He pretty much cut and dribbled past the entire Burnley team and scored like a solo goal.
Yeah.
That I think will forever remain like sort of etched in my memory, and probably the first thing that would come to my mind when we talk about
Heung-min Son. For me, frankly, it is the fact that no matter if there is somebody other than Mane and Salah who has been as productive as a winger. See, I'm leaving Messi and Ronaldo out of this conversation. Right? I'm not counting them at all.
Yeah.
So, other than Mane and Salah in the Premier League, if there was somebody who was as consistently productive and you give him a chance, 8 times out of 10, he's going to put it in the top corner.
He was also like pure industrious and like hardworking player.
But
he had
technically
good skills, exactly.
Yeah.
And the other thing, just a silver lining for Spurs, is I remembered and probably read this. I'm not sure it was Willian whom they were trying to or tracking to sign like almost 10 years ago.
Okay.
He eventually joined Chelsea on the deadline day.
Okay.
Or just before, and then Tottenham went on to sign
Heung-min Son. Wow.
One time trying to make it, they just lost out on Eberechi, and hopefully
they get a better.
This might be
What do you want?
This might be the time someone walks in and sort of changes.
Makes a difference. So we just wanted to highlight, like, we do remember that Son left Spurs. Now on to the next team. Do you want to Aston Villa first or Nottingham Forest? What do you want to do first?
Wow, great. I think I would want to do Nottingham Forest. Somehow
you like
this season
them,
has been. I like them, like the way they put a performance last year, and again kudos to Nuno Espirito Santos for doing that, and sort of having done that twice, and what I mean by twice is Nuno almost did it with Wolves.
Yeah, that
now
was
he's
unbelievable.
starting to do it again with Nottingham Forest.
Although I think he's already shot himself in the foot.
That is, we'll get to that. Just showed me enough promise. 1, 2 is, and to back him, they've signed great players this time around.
Yeah.
Like most of them are those high potential players who are just on the cusp of breaking out and becoming could become a breakout stars. And so I just hope that they go on to do that. And Douglas Lewis especially, I think, is a solid, very solid
midfield signing, man.
Midfield signing for them.
I think the thing I liked about Nottingham Forest is they've not been shy to spend in the market. Like no matter what the sanctions, the point reductions, everything at the helm from Arsenal.
Yeah.
I know they've spent crazy money,
and I hope for that one reason, Nuno stays. Like he has put in so much effort and structure into this team. They one of second best or third best defensive.
Yeah, they were
unbelievable. They had better record last year.
Yeah. I mean, at one point, their goalkeeper was the best goalkeeper, one of the best goalkeepers in the league.
Him and David Raya. Like Matt Sells and David Raya had 13 combined highest of 13.
I think Sells was in the PFA team of the year, right?
He was.
Wasn't he?
I don't know.
I think he was. So he was one of the best goalkeepers. Ola Aina was the best right back. Murillo and Milinkovic was one of the best centre backs.
Solid physical.
Center backs. And then they had Chris Wood, who was one of the best strikers. Unbelievable striker.
Yeah.
They had Elanga and Hudson-Odoi, who were these flying wingers. Hudson-Odoi especially hurt Liverpool at Anfield. And then you have Morgan Gibbs-White, who's one of the best number 10s in the league, who's physically strong, who's available, and who's creative.
Yeah.
So they had like most of the team sorted. Like they've lost Elanga, but they've kind of replaced him with Endoy, Was it Endo?
Yeah, Kiliman. No. Kiliman is Everton.
So
sorry.
Endai or
Endai from
Endo?
Bologna, I think. They
Somebody,
signed
yeah,
this
40 million or
Swiss winger.
Winger, 40 million or
Yeah.
something. And then they have Douglas Luiz, as he
Yeah,
rightly
Douglas
spoke about, who
Luiz.
brings a Premier League pedigree.
Yep.
Like Aston Villa, he did well to qualify for the Champions League. So that was a big deal. And then they have signed
This
another
French forward, Arnaud
Kalimuendo, or sorry, I might be butchering his name, but I mean, he's done well. They have the squad, they have the ingredients to succeed.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of whether they can take that next step. And by next step, I don't mean them qualifying for the Champions League. See, what they did last year was unseen. Like, I don't think it was too soon to say, but probably the most unexpected thing to happen after Leicester winning the league. Maybe them. No, they were almost bang on to finish in the top 3 at one point. Like, that's how good they were from being a relegation threatened season the previous year. So they have the raw materials, they have the ingredients, they have the manager. I don't know if he'll stay long with the ongoing issues with the owner, the manager, Edu, and all of that. But if they can sort that out, they have the ingredients to be a Europe team, like a team which can fight for Europe, right? So have you had good experiences with them in FM? I know you were this big FM connoisseur.
For sure, yes. I've had good experience with them. It could just mean that I'm a good tactician. But no, not really. I think overall, as to sum up what you said, they have a good team overall. For a team that is now expected to play in Europe and Europa League, that's going to be like a
that was a lucky
Thursday,
thing,
Sunday,
right?
lucky thing. Thursday, Sunday kind of a routine. They do need squad depth. Like no matter what, at some point in time, they will consistently do Thursday, Sunday for like good 3-4 weeks straight.
Not more than 3-4 weeks, right?
Yeah, in at a stretch.
At a stretch, okay.
Point being, they do need the squad depth, which they do have now. My only hope is whatever is the sort of issues,
boardroom issues.
I don't know what's going to. Hopefully, they get to an amicable sort of settlement or an understanding enough to at least get through the season. I hope as board members, they don't really want to sort of spoil and let go of what Nono has built.
Yeah. I mean, really hope. Right?
Exactly.
So I mean, they are definitely a team who a lot of people are looking at them to see, was last season just an absolute bolt out of the blue, or can they do good enough to say, hey, they probably overdid their level, but they're good enough.
Right.
So that is one. Now, from a team which has made a lot of signings to a team which has barely made any signings, you have Aston Villa. I am honestly worried for Aston Villa.
Agreed. Yeah, it's sort of strange in the sense that they, I think I remember it was 2-3 seasons ago, they had Nico Zaniolo, Moussa Diaby, and Leon Bailey all in one team, and they were probably not even in Europe or Champions League. Now this season that they are in, financial fair
play. They're not in Champions League.
I mean, they are. I'm sorry, but they are in Europe, right? Or not?
Are they? I
think so. Are they not even playing Conference League? I could be wrong if they are in.
That's actually a good question.
Let
me look it up.
Point I was trying to make is, it was just strange that they were not able to sign anyone this season of like note who could actually add some freshness to the team. And I think they're still tracking Nicholas Jackson. I don't know if
I saw
there, but
okay. They are in Europa League.
Oh, they are in Europa.
Okay, fair. They have Europe.
So point being, then you need squad depth. Then you need players who can play Thursday, Thursday, Sunday again, same as Nottingham Forest.
Man,
the kind of heights Emery took them to after taking over from Gerrard.
No, I mean honestly, oh man, that's a heartbreak.
Nightmare.
That's a heartbreak that Gerrard couldn't do anything. But I think the bigger issue is they had Rashford, they had Asensio, like two players who were probably on the decline or who were kind of discarded by their clubs respectively, but they managed to turn up for Aston Villa. Like the way Rashford plays against PSG, especially in the Champions League, showed everybody saw the class that he had, like what he can do to torment defenses. And Asensio, a lot of games I remember, he scored that 89th minute winner, that 85th minute equalizer, and he was that goal scorer. Like he might be slow, he might not be able to defend as well, but he scores. So they had those two players who somehow were motivated enough to perform and score. They've lost both. they've definitely not replaced either.
Yeah.
They've lost Jacob Ramsey to Newcastle. They've lost Leon Bailey to Roma.
I don't know who he is. Not the team.
They've lost Leon Bailey. Watkins is unhappy with the team, and he's been wanting to leave. And anyhow, his production has gone down towards the end of the year. So, all in
Morgan Rogers, who's a very solid player, but the fact is, can he play 2-3 games this week? Too much.
It's that argument, right? He is a young player. He had a breakout year, but how much can you expect him to carry a team when you've literally not invested in the squad at all? Like, do they have the squad depth? Like, Daniel Malin is one, but do they have the squad depth?
Right.
Like, no, honestly,
I don't think so.
They are missing in centre backs, they're missing in full backs, they're missing in midfield, they're missing in strikers. Apparently, Emi Martinez is making noises about wanting to leave.
Here's a very left field suggestion, and it sort of struck me while we were talking this. Is why shouldn't they go for like a Jadon Sancho, even if it's a loan?
Sure, I mean Emery has been a good manager.
Exactly, it's not in the news, but I'm just very.
Like what he did with Rashford, maybe he can do something like that with Sancho.
Yeah, what if?
I mean, sure. There are a lot of what ifs. Like they could.
I'm just curious. Like why aren't I don't know. They must have tracked and probably deemed him not a good fit or a great fit for Emery's approach. But the fact that he could get as much out of Rashford, which by Rashford standards was probably just decent, not great.
Yeah, true.
But it was still better than what he was able to do at Man United, and he had no path forward in Man United. So,
No, actually, see, if this was an FM world, I'd probably go ahead and sign. I mean, again, people might think I'm biased, but I'd go ahead and sign a Harvey Elliott from Liverpool because he's a young player. He's a creative player.
Could be the number 10 that
at Liverpool, if not anything, he's been a goal scorer. He scores goals or he assists goals.
By and large, whenever called upon, most of the times he's been effective. He's got us.
Even in the Euro, in the under 21 Euros, he was there, the player of the tournament, right? He scored goals in the final, the semi-final, everything. Like he is waiting to break out, and he is waiting for that year where a manager trusts him, plays him, gives him week out, and gives him that opportunity. Might be just what they need.
Right.
So, if this was an FM world, you never know what is destined for them and him this year. But I certainly feel Aston Villa are in trouble this year because a few injuries in their squad. If God forbid they lose a Morgan Rogers, or God forbid they lose a Yuri Tielemans for that matter. I mean, I don't know where that team will go. Like I really fear for them. Like from the point of where we are talking about them being Europe contenders and top 5 contenders, they could really just fall off really badly.
Okay.
That's kind of a big worry. Now, these are kind of the teams which we feel are finished in the top
half,
top 8, I'll say, and they were kind of fighting in and around for the Champions League and Europa League places. Among the rest, obviously we could go ahead and talk about every team, but in terms of the remaining teams, I want you to pick one team which you feel will be the surprise package. Who will kind of surprise us, in a good way, not in a bad way, in a good way. You'll say one, and then I'll say one.
Sure. Yeah. Now that you ask that question, two names. I know you asked me to pick one. I think both these teams, both Brighton and Bournemouth, are sort of there. Bournemouth is sort of going through some transition in the sense they sold Joao Pedro, and they have two very young.
Bournemouth?
Brighton.
Okay. Yeah.
They let go of they sold Joao Pedro. They have a very young, inexperienced teenage strikers and well back.
Even their manager is a very young manager.
So probably this again is going to be. Yeah, I don't want to. Does that mean that they're going to be a surprise? Maybe not. But the fact is, they can put up a fight. My recommendation would be either Brighton or Bournemouth. Bournemouth has lost few players, but then they have already recruited solid players, players in the positions that they've lost. So we'll take that. Yeah.
Sure. So your suggestion is?
Wow. I'm going to stick to Bournemouth just because.
Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Okay. Bournemouth. Okay. that's a good shout. I mean, Iraola is a brilliant manager.
Exactly. He's a
So-
great manager, now experienced, almost 2 seasons. This is his third season in Premier League. And so hopefully, he now has now is able to sort of rebuild again. Unfortunately, he's lost like good solid players. So.
You're banking on them. I would like to suggest 2 names, but I'll definitely pick one. One is Everton, and one is Sunderland.
Everton is
the reason why I say Everton is David Moyes, for all the criticism about his playing style, about how turgid he is, about how he's a dinosaur, he knows how to get results for a mid-table team and to take them from that middling side to the cusp of how do I put this? Europe.
He did that with West Ham.
He got them a title, dude. He got them a Conference League. Yes. That was an unbelievable season. Yeah. He got them into a top 8, 6 something finish. He was unbelievable with them. I think he had that. And the fact that last season when Liverpool played Everton, the first game was kind of rescheduled and then they played Everton again. First time they had Sean Dyche. The second time we were playing them, it was David Moyes, and both of us were fretting that had it not been David Moyes, we would have been confident about this result.
Sure, yeah.
And right on us,
so happened.
They got a draw at that point, which could have, I don't know, at that point it felt like a big loss.
Loss for us and good victory for them.
For them, right? So, and they've made some stellar signings.
Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
Oh man, he looks. It's just one game. But then he certainly looks to be at the level where he's supposed to be from his sort of Aston Villa prime from Man City.
If Moyes can rejuvenate him or kind of bed him into that system where the team kind of is a structural team, he has that free role, or he has an opportunity to run at people. We could see a breakout year again for Jack Grealish, where it's very sad to see him wither away in the last few years, because I remember distinctly was it the Euros? I think it was the Euros, where every game England would look bad, they would look so turgid, nothing on the field, and then Jack Grealish would come off the bench and he'd do something. He'd create a goal, he'd assist a goal, he'd score a goal, he'll do something. And it was like, wow, he's a difference maker. And then whatever happened with him. So I really hope he can make that difference. Along with him, they have signed Dibbling, if there was one player that can hold his head up high in Southampton last
season,
it was Dibbling. So he's definitely a great addition to them. And they have
they signed a striker, Thierry Borno. He's this young 20-odd-year-old French forward. They signed him from Villarreal. I know him from the fact that I play FM.
Okay.
There's a solid potential there. So that remains to be seen. I think he can he can come good. They have Beto, who's now sort of inherited the number 9 jersey
from Calvert-Lewin.
And he's sort of the rangy, unpredictable, nomadic striker. So he can wreck chaos.
He definitely bullied us at Anfield last year.
So let's see. They exactly, and that said, this combined with the fact that Moyes sort of knows to get the best out of them, and again the fact that they pretty much have only the Premier League to focus on. They can
be that surprise team,
surprise and rattle few teams.
Because they kept hold of Brathwaite, which I think is Brathwaite, whatever. I think he's a mountain man. He's a mountain man. He's huge.
I know he's towering.
With that squad, if they can do something like if Moyes can make them a functional unit with the new stadium,
I was about to mention that.
It looks beautiful. It looks brilliant. So things could be looking up for them. Finally. As much as I hate to say, as a Liverpool fan,
2 Liverpool fans talking good things about Everton and
United. Oh my god! But definitely they're history clubs, right? History clubs
for sure.
They have been in the Premier League. They have been Man United titles. Everton consistently the bogey team for so many teams, right? Goodison Park was one of the most difficult places to go to when Moyes was there initially. That was definitely I fretted as a Liverpool fan. So it's great to see him back, and hopefully they can bring the atmosphere in the new ground, right? So and Sunderland, the reason why I picked them is they've spent huge deal, 100-odd million something. They have Xhaka. I don't know how in the world they
managed to sign
Xhaka, but that's a brilliant signing. They have Ronaldo from Atletico Madrid. The thing is,
how do they? here is a disclaimer statement for folks out there. I've been playing FM for so long, almost like 10 seasons straight, 10 editions straight.
Yeah.
There is no way in this world, as a newly
Relegation
promoted
threat,
team,
yeah.
you can pretty much like sign a first choice left back from Atletico.
Atletico Madrid, right?
That is insane. And
Unbelievable.
the kind of unless they are like they're banished from the team and being
Whatever,
yeah, exactly.
Transfer listed. And
So
all.
again, great piece of business. They've also signed some pretty decent young
Young
stars.
players, yeah.
So that remains an opportunity for
Igor
them.
Thiago is a
Igor
striker
Thiago,
that
yeah.
they have. So I mean, all in all, or was it Brentford? I don't know. Never mind.
Yeah.
I don't want to speculate. But the point is, last 2 seasons, the bottom 3 pretty much have come up and gone down. Last season, as bad a season as United, Spurs, West Ham had,
Right.
they pretty much were unscared about relegation because the bottom 3 teams were so far adrift. Like, they were nowhere to be seen. Like, even halfway through the season, we knew they were getting relegated. So, given that, I really want a team which has come up to stay up. Like, I think the last team which came up and stayed up was Nottingham Forest.
Maybe I think so.
Because last
Yeah.
season, all 3 went down. The
Correct.
previous
The
season,
season
all 3
before
went
they
down.
won as well, yeah.
So, I think Nottingham Forest were the team
Likely
which
so,
barely
yeah.
probably made it. So, it's a big deal. So, I really want them to stay up because
Yeah.
Sunderland, again, man, I remember the days of
From the
2000s,
days when we-
right?
yeah, no,
Like
they
the rivalry between Newcastle and Sunderland, where you had like the Stadium of Light buzzing,
For
and
sure.
and I remember this season. Was it the same year when like Aguero scored that Aguero goal? When they were trying to really win,
I know.
and 90+3 there was a Lee or some
Lee
striker from
equalizer,
Sunderland. No,
yeah.
he won the game. I think he rounded the goalkeeper and he scored
Oh,
and he
did
won
he?
the game.
Okay, I don't
So
know.
I thought that was it. So like they are memories, and the fact
Right.
that see you have Nottingham Forest, storied club, historied club. You have Leeds United, storied club, historied club. You have Newcastle, Aston Villa,
Yeah.
Man United, Liverpool, whatever.
Right.
And then you have a certain like Sunderland, again one of the old hitters. You want the storylines, the
To
history to come
continue,
into the
yeah,
Premier
for sure.
League. So I really hope they do
Yeah.
well. But my pick is going to be definitely Everton
Yeah.
because I think there is a lot of positivity around the club.
For sure.
Now,
yeah.
from the positivity,
I was going to ask.
Go
I don't know if that's what you were getting to. On the very note, who would you nominate for the
relegation.
contenders to get relegated this season?
it's kind of
It may not be 3, whatever, but
No, I'll
Yeah, sure,
name
go for
3. But it's definitely sad to say that this team is going to get relegated because it kind of makes you feel like there is no competition. The fact
Right.
that we're already resigned to them getting relegated. I hope there is competition. Not in the fact that there are more teams performing badly.
Sure, yeah.
In that there are more teams performing well.
Right.
But I feel Brentford have lost way too much.
Yeah,
I think
let's
they've-
start with the manager.
Yeah, I mean honestly, like the fact that
he
you
was
almost
like a pillar there. Like,
the fact that you
yeah.
almost used Brentford and Thomas Frank interchangeably,
Yeah.
like tells you how big of a loss he is.
Yes.
They lost Mbuemo. They could potentially lose Vissa.
Yes,
They lost. I mean, now I wish Kelleher had signed for a team which was more likely to stay in the
up
Premier
and
League.
not, yeah.
But they lost their first choice goalkeeper.
Yep.
They've lost a lot.
They've
So
lost
that's
a
why I feel like they kind of are pretty weak
In the
and they
mix,
potentially
yeah.
could lose. And then the other team is Wolves, which again, like they somehow managed to get that structure around last year and stay up in the Premier League and actually have a good end to the season. But this year, again, they lost Nelson Semedo, who's not a great player, but I think the fact that he played for Barcelona, he
Right.
has some pedigree in
Yeah.
him. So I feel like they had something going their way. This year, I somehow don't see any positivity around them, and especially if Newcastle sniffing around Brune Larson. If they poach him off, yeah, I mean, I don't see where the goals come from.
Yeah.
And then the third team, I'm very lost on whom to pick between Leeds or Burnley because I don't think all 3 teams from that have come up will stay.
Yeah.
But I somehow feel Leeds. I would want as much as I would want them to
They were
stay.
again a storied
They-
strength club.
Yes, but they have had a lot of turmoil with their manager. I remember
yeah.
right when the season was going to come on, there was news of Farka potentially getting
Right,
sacked
right.
and all of that. So I feel like there is too much distrust in the sense that something goes wrong, the manager will be under question.
Sure.
Mind you, West Ham are playing shit. They're playing shit.
They're going to be one of my picks.
But I feel like West Ham, being West Ham, somehow they'll pull something out. They have the players, man. They have the talent.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pick Leeds. So Leeds, Wolves, and Brentford. Yeah, 3 for you.
3 for me. I'm probably going to stick to the same 3 teams who came up. Unfortunately.
Oh wow, really? All 3?
Sunderland, Burnley, Leeds would be my primary nominations. To sort of put a couple of teams more into the dogfight would probably be Brentford and West Ham. Wolves maybe so as well. Yeah, 15 to 20 kind of gets iffy and
really bad,
very
actually.
Marginal. There's definitely it's a fight for margins.
It almost seems like this year there is a gap between the teams which seem safe.
And I think, I don't know, we were just discussing this offline. It's also the fact that top 4, top 6 Premier League teams have been raiding this mid-table to bottom Premier League teams this year more so than they've done in the last 2 years or so. West Ham lost Kudus.
Brentford lost so
many players. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Bournemouth have lost players, but they have signed them, which time will tell if they can be as competitive.
The only reason why we feel Bournemouth might be good is their manager. Right? He's a good manager. He's been solid and he's been good. So. I mean, it definitely looks a little bleak for these teams, but we hope they pull something off and it's a good fight. Right? There was time when it said anything below 40 you are getting relegated. Last year, I don't know if West Ham scored even 40. They were comfortably safe.
They were what, 16,
17? They were 17. They were comfortably safe. Correct. Honestly, even Spurs and United were really bad. They barely probably scored 40, but they're comfortably safe. That is what is a little. I mean, worrying for me, the fact that the teams that are down at the bottom are drifting so far.
Right.
So, all in all, really excited for this season.
I think exactly. For a great season. I think it's going to be like a grandstand finish. The next 6 days are going to be epic in the transfer market. And that would then probably set a tone for, sort of the weeks and months to come. And as always, we'd expect this to be a very... Unlike last season, maybe more closely fought sort of campaign.
And then we'll try to come back maybe a week or two
as often as possible,
and then give you some updates on what we feel about the league.
Yep.
Ciao.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you.